like the best video ever.
This is great.
We got 25 minutes. We gotta go.
Hey!
Happy Hump Day, Hump Day.
With the camera going. Got my shirt ready. I'm ready.
Yes,
ready.
We are rocking black and the white. Say that shirt. Janelle, stand up for a second.
Oh, okay.
There we go. There we go. With the official logo on it. What's going on, Say That Nation? Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Happy Wednesday.
Excited to be on with you guys today. Janelle is back in New York.
I'm back in the cold.
No more beach life for her. If you follow Janelle on Instagram, drop a crying emoji right now because you know she was waking up to, I don't know if you guys were sick like I was of seeing her feeds, like waking up and going onto the beach at sunrise. I'm like, stop it. I'm like, stop it. Right? Yeah, there we go. Some fire in the chat. Yeah, no more. Right? No, but guys, happy Wednesday. Happy to have Janelle back. Excited about today. We could actually get started and jump right into it. Janelle, let's get the drum
All right.
roll.
You ready for the question, people? Here we go.
Today's question.
Why isn't my business growing fast enough? That's a great question. Why isn't it growing fast enough? I wonder this all the time. Oh, man. Well, we are guys. It's not just us this week. We are excited because we have a guest with us on Bench Talk, and we're really excited to bring to you. He is an entrepreneur. He is an amazing pitcher. Let me just tell you this. He has pitched his business and has won several times now. He is the founder of Greenbook Global, and I can't wait for you guys to hear his story about how he got started, and so he can start digging into this question about your business not growing fast enough.
Our next guest. Welcome, Lawrence. Welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you for having me. I just appreciate the opportunity to speak about the business and also give some insights on helping to answer that question.
There we go. Let's get it.
Oh, that's awesome. We're super happy to be here. P.S. I just have to say, 2 favorite pictures: you with the koala, and then you in the sunflower field. Best.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that was actually absolutely dope. When I saw, I was like, "There's places like this."
Yeah, the sunflower field is actually right outside of New York.
Oh wow!
So my wife found it, and I was like, "All right, we can go there." Hey, Brittany. Hey, Penny.
Oh, man.
Awesome.
Yes. Well, we're super excited to have you on, as are all those who are watching live with us. So tell us a little bit about Greenbook Global. Tell us about why you thought about starting this. Tell us a little bit about what it is, and then why you thought that you wanted to do something like this and get it going.
Absolutely. Before I jump in, listen, that video is tight though. Like I was telling Janelle, like I love that video. Your video editing skills are like so kudos to that. So give you some context on myself and also Greenbook Global. So really it all started like back in 2015. Like I got burnt out from working. So I worked for about 9 years at that point. I was doing IT consulting. And I was actually traveling between Atlanta and Cali, San Diego for about 2 years straight. So every week I would go back and forth, and it's about a 5 or 6 hour flight. So I got a lot of status on like hotels and flight and airlines and everything like that, but I was tired. And so from a mental health standpoint, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna quit. I'm gonna quit. I like traveling. I'm gonna quit and I'm gonna travel. So it was a very bold move. And I can tell you kind of some of the details of how I did that. But long story short, I did 30 countries in all 7 continents in less than a year. So I traveled for about 10 months, I would say.
Wow.
And so it was an amazing experience. Like went to like some of my favorite spots like Johannesburg, Tokyo was dope too. So I can definitely dive in to some of those experiences. But while traveling, I noticed 2 things. One, as I was going from one like country to the next, I had to keep on researching like, okay, well, where am I going to stay? Where am I going to party? When am I going to eat? And then every country I went to, or every city I went to, was like a different platform I had to go on or research. So the inconsistency was like killing me. Like, yo, this is taking way too much time to figure out like what I'm trying to do. Where am I trying to sleep? But also, most importantly, the second thing is being a Black traveler. I was kind of nervous going to certain places, not knowing how my Blackness would be received. And I was like, oh, should I go here? This seems dope. How do they treat Black people? I don't know. I don't know. And you can Google it. You might find like a one-off blog post about a destination, but I wanted like consistent information, information. And so that's how kind of Greenbook Global was formed. So really, it's like the first Black travel review site. And what makes this very unique is that instead of rating activities like your TripAdvisors and your Yelps or businesses, you actually rate destinations. So destinations have a score for adventure, for romance, for things to do, for affordability, for history, for nightlife, but also most importantly, what it's like traveling while Black. And so that key factor right there is this, and it's not my opinion too, right? It's crowdsourced. So we have thousands of reviews for different destinations across the whole world from Black travelers. And so you can really get an idea of what Black people are saying about a destination versus a single blog post. Or if you look at TripAdvisor, you have no idea what the context is on why they like or dislike a certain activity. And we all know too, like one activity for a white person could be great, but some Black people show up or a group of Black people show up, it's a whole different experience, right? And so the idea is that you have that context and say like, no, like me and my girls went, it was 5 to 10 of us who was deep and had an amazing time, bet I know I can go there too. So that's kind of the concept behind Greenbook Global and what we're trying to do. So really, we're really trying to be the go-to online travel platform for Black travelers worldwide. So right now we focus a lot more on the content side. So again, over 5,000 reviews, over 400 destinations, and also our Instagram page, we have over 119,000 followers. And so really our goal and our mission is to inspire and empower Black travelers to confidently explore the world. And so the inspiration is the Instagram page, because you can like, we got over 4,500 photos posted of all Black people. So you just see Black people everywhere, right? And that's the idea, is like when you see people that look like you in all these different destinations, like, you know what, I can go there too. It gives you that level of confidence. And also we just kind of promote that Black people travel everywhere to help the travel industry pay attention to us as well. And the empowerment comes from the review. So we give you that practical information that says, all right, this is where I stayed. This is the company I used. This is how much it cost. And so we're doing like phase 2 of that by doing a profit sharing. So that's what we're going to do in 2022. Is like, we want to put money into Black travelers' pockets. So now when you start leaving reviews, you start booking trips on our site, we're going to actually pay you to do so. And you're going to earn points that can be converted to cash. So we got a lot of things going on. But that's kind of the idea behind Greenbook Global, really trying to be the go-to online review and travel booking platform for Black travelers.
Say that.
I just want you guys to see. I hope this plays so you guys. I saw this yesterday. I'm like, who gets on this thing?
Right.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I had to look it up a little bit. Forgot how much it cost. It cost a grip to do it, but I tried one good time.
There you go. I love it.
Wow. That looks like fun.
No,
yeah. So yeah, we try to mix it up to just kind of show like different things. Sometimes we'll do something crazy. You might see that. You might see someone going like through I don't know. Oh yeah, we have some monkey doing some monkey business. We had some people in Cartagena doing like a Soul Train line. So yeah, so we just show a lot of different things. Just because like Black people are different, right? And so we're not. Oh
my God!
You might want to give you a heads up on that one.
Censor. Children, run away from the screen.
Yeah. Sorry, hopefully no kids were watching.
Sorry.
That was awesome. Caught Janelle off guard with that one.
So Lawrence, talk to us. I love to hear we always look at it as, I guess, like the before and after. Talk to us about what that process looked like in terms of, you walk away from a job, you I guess it almost in some sense pursued a passion or maybe a desire you had, but how does that translate into, now again, you have an Instagram following over 115,000 people. You got 119,000 people. Now you have a business. What does that look like? What's that? What was the day one, if anything, of what this vision has turned into?
Yeah,
yeah.
day
How long
one,
ago was that? By the way, when was day
2015 is when when I did the trip, and that's where kind of those pain points became painfully clear. And so that's the inception of the idea, and I can kind of talk to you a little bit of the evolution of that, kind of to your point, Winston. But I think the first thing was I didn't know what I was creating when I first started. Like I just said, hey, I need some time for me. I'm gonna just invest in myself, and I'm gonna see what happens. And I was like, you know what? Probably something's gonna come up. I'm gonna get some idea while I'm traveling. Something's gonna happen because it's not really, especially as Americans, it's not very easy to get time just for yourself. We just work in that rat race. We're constantly working. We work to live instead of living to work, or we live to work instead of working to live. And so like that was my way to separate myself from the rat race and just take a second to breathe. And so when I did that, that's when the idea started coming in. And the first step was me being very nervous to post my first Instagram picture. So it was when Instagram was 2015. I was like, shoot, I don't know. I'm making a brand, posting a photo. I ain't gonna get that many likes. I'm real nervous, and like it really was that process. Like you just do it, put yourself out there and see what happens.
Right.
And then you just keep on doing it. Then you get a lot of likes at first. You just keep on doing it. And then you really find the motivations more from yourself. It's like, well, what am I doing here? I'm just promoting travel. Just be happy with that. And whatever happens at the end of that, it is what it is. So I would say just putting yourself out there was kind of that first step to being patient. And that kind of leads back to like, why isn't my business growing fast enough? If I had to fire multiple developers, I'm on this trip having a great time, and I'm on some days I'm just pissed off because developers I had there, the site crashed, it was inconsistent. They're using the development they're doing was terrible design. I'm like, why is my site breaking? And so it was just trying to find a balance between like me trying to enjoy myself as well as me trying to make progress on like that first iteration of the site and being patient because I'm on probably my fifth developer, which I've had for the last 2 years. So he's tight. But to get there, like I was like, man, forget this. I'm tired. I can't deal with this anymore. Right. And so I think the idea is really just to have that level of consistency to still pursue or persevere as you're kind of coming against all these challenges. But also just believing in yourself and saying, hey, let's just see what happens. Let's just keep pushing. And sometimes like winning is just beating out your competition. Like you might not have the greatest product out there, but you just might outlast them and then you get the consumers. Wow. And so I was just like, let me just last and see what happens.
Wow. That's such an interesting way to think of it, that people just don't even stick around. So, but what if I'm the one that's left? And, and then people come to me.
What if you're crazy enough to keep it going longer than them?
It's a really good
how
point.
Powerful that is, though. Yeah, that's incredibly powerful. I think many people, especially when you get into business, it's often interesting that the space that they close is 3 to 5 years, and obviously there are a lot of extenuating circumstances that lead to that. But I wonder how many of them it just wasn't. They just didn't see it beyond that. You know what I mean? Like they personally did not see this thing going that long, and then you really get into it. You just show you one day you just go in and like, now we're done. Let's just
right. Yeah, it's definitely like having perspective because again, like the business has evolved over time. Like initially we were focused on young professionals. Then we were focused on young Black professionals. Then we were focused on Black people from the ages of like 30 down. And I was like, you know what? Just Black people. Like at some point I evolved and I said like I was trying to find a market that I thought was available versus the market I was passionate about. And I was like, I'm passionate about Black people. I know Black people. I'm Black. Like I traveled around the world. I'm Black. Like I feel like I can talk about Black. I can talk about being a young professional, but I don't really care about being a young professional because I can be a young professional forever. I'm gonna be Black. This is gonna be. This is me right here. No bleaching is gonna happen. This is gonna be me. So that's what I'm passionate about, and it just so happened that there's a lot of data that's coming out about how much Black travelers spend, like over $100 billion a year in travel, US-based Black travelers. So that was great, but at the same time, I was like, if it didn't happen, it is what it is. I'm talking about Black people because I like Black people, and that's what it is. And so that gave me some type of comfort in all the decisions I was making. I only made that decision. That's why I actually changed the name. Before we were called We Work to Travel because I was focused on the working part. But then when I doubled down and went on Greenbook Global because of the history of the Greenbook, I just felt like a whole like weight got lifted because I was like, you know what? I wanted to be Black anyways. Not to be Blackity Black. and just do whatever how I want to say it. And so like that was also very empowering.
That's so cool. I almost wish that we had you during February. So
I know, right?
Bring you back.
We may have to bring you back.
And we can always come back on February. We can get another question.
Right. That's amazing. Oh my God.
I actually have a question.
Right.
Oh, you have one, Jay? Go.
No, I was like, let's get to the actual question itself.
Oh, well, actually, two things. One, I think you definitely addressed something there in terms of recognizing maybe when you need to step away from somebody you've made a partnership with or agreement to help move your dream further along. But I actually had two things that came up for me that I also thought was interesting, which is one, Janelle and I had a business coach on. And after doing a personal, we went and got a session done with her. Highly recommend you guys go back and check out that episode.
Alex Mitchell.
Yeah, Alex is definitely a beast. And one of the things she addressed even in the call with Janelle and I was this idea of identifying your market. And but again, even in that, listening to what you've just said, it sounds like you had this ideal market that you wanted to serve, but after taking a step back, you recognize it almost seemed like you were pigeonholing yourself into this little niche as opposed to, really going out there. And again, not saying I want to help everybody. Right. That's obviously way too broad, but then just opening up and saying, but wait, who do I really want to help? Yeah. And then letting that lead it. And then the second thing is, and I'm unfamiliar with this, you mentioned the history of the Greenbook. I'm not sure what that is. So if you could speak a little bit to that as you get into, again, both those things, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. So I think talking about the first piece, identifying your market, right? So I think with me, I'm very fluid. So my market shifted, right? So ultimately, I really wanted to just focus on Black people, but everyone said, well, there's all these other groups out, like it's too saturated, So I was like, all right, bet. Let me try to find something else and try to find a niche. But my market actually almost chose me, right? So in the essence, when I'm posting these photos, like I feel more comfortable posting Black people. Like I'm following Black pages and Black hashtags, so I just keep on posting Black people everywhere. And I'm like, I don't know why I'm trying to market to everyone. I'm posting as Black people because that's what I want to do anyway. So it almost was like me delaying the inevitable, where like if you stay passionate, if you stay true to who you are and what you're really going after, like I let myself get sidetracked by where I could make money versus what I was passionate about. And so you can make money in your passion, right? Because when you're working 2 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, that's your passion. It's a little bit easier to do. It's like, okay, well, I can make money in this niche. I can make money in this niche. I don't like the niche, but I can make money in this niche, right? And so when I do stuff for Black people, like the work don't really seem, it still work, but it don't seem like as cumbersome, I would say. So I think that's something that's really important is being open to letting your target market evolve and change, because like mine evolved to what I really wanted to be, but it took years, right? This 2015. I don't think I switched the name. Well, we used the name like years ago, like in documents and everything like that, but we didn't start to come out with the name until like 2 years ago. Oh, actually, no, until like last year, actually. So we did a whole brand change. Again, we kind of used the context from like years prior to like with like using the name, but we just like wanted to bring it to the masses, like only as of like last year or the year before, if I remember correctly. But the history of the Greenbook. So the reason why we switched the name is because that actually helps us double down on our focus. So the Negro Motors Greenbook was first published in 1936 by a guy by the name of Victor Hugo Green. It was essentially the Black travel Bible during Jim Crow and segregation. So it told Black people like during the 60s and the 30s, and I think it was last published in 1966. So between like 1936 and 66, it told Black people like what hotels you could go to, a gas station, sundown towns you should avoid, restaurants you can eat at. And so we're kind of doing something similar, but with a modern twist, where we're not necessarily listing out safe like businesses, but we're listing out safe destinations. And then also, we don't want to really encourage or discourage travel from a destination. We just want you to be well informed, right? So that's why that travel by Black kind of category is important, because like, listen, if you want to go to Prague or if you want to go to Beijing, bet you can go, but just so you know, keep your head on a swivel, because these are the experiences that other Black people have had there. So just be careful. Do what you want to do. See the world. Don't let people deter you from seeing the world. But I just want Black people to be prepared and empowered to do so with the right amount of information.
Wow, that's good. I didn't know that. I'm familiar with the name. It's a movie. That's not one. I didn't see it. And truth be told, what you just told, and I looked it up just now, the poster, I would have absolutely no idea. That's what that movie is about.
The Greenbook, the movie came out, didn't talk that much about the Greenbook.
Okay.
That's so true. I'm like, yeah.
It's like a reverse driving Mrs. Daisy. I was like, what's up? Literally, when I heard, I'm like, I think I know this, but again, the picture, I was like, that what you just explained, Lawrence, is absolutely not at all.
You wouldn't necessarily get that. I saw the movie, I was like, yeah. And like they showed the book maybe like a couple times, like maybe once.
Yeah, it was like a moment. Yeah. And if you didn't know what the Greenbook was going into the movie,
about it.
You would have missed it. Yeah, you wouldn't have learned. Yeah, you wouldn't have learned.
The other way people have heard about it, because that movie actually won a Grammy, so that's why people at least know about the idea of the Greenbook, because that movie actually won a Grammy. But then Lovecraft Country. So Lovecraft Country also on HBO also talked about the Greenbook as they were traveling through like some of the towns trying to find his dad or something like that, and they showed the Greenbook there. So those are the two like instances like in like modern day media where the Greenbook's really been referenced.
Real quick, just because I'm a music lover, did it win a Grammy or an Oscar? Because like now I need to go download the
maybe Oscar. Maybe I don't know the difference between a Grammy and Oscar. It won the movie one. The movie one.
Okay, so that's an Oscar.
That might be the Oscar. You're right.
I was like, is the soundtrack really that good? Like I need to go.
Yeah. You're right. It's an Oscar. I'm glad. Good correction. And one of the other cool things just about the Greenbook too. That and so I think this is also important for encouragement as well. I find I look for different things to help encourage me. So like every once in a while, like someone who reads reviews on the site, like, oh my gosh, this is dope. We need something like this. That's also like encouragement. But Victor Hugo Green, again, the author of the original Greenbook, he actually lived in Harlem as well. And so when I first started thinking about changing the name, I was actually living in Harlem. I was like, okay, you know what, you in Harlem, serendipitous a little bit. All right, cool. You in the right place, brother. But me and my wife got married on September 8th, and him and his wife got married on September 8th. And I was like, all right, nah. You're doing the right thing now. You're doing the right thing. Because I'm like, all right, I'm in Harlem. We were married on the same day. That little, So I was like, okay, you on the right track. So keep pushing.
Very cool.
Wow, what a way of confirmation. That's really cool. Okay, so let's get into the question then, right? All of this is really great information because I'm sure Winston is not the only person who is not that familiar with the Greenbook. So thank you so much for informing us all. So tell us a little bit about, you talked a little bit about the pain of like, oh, why isn't this growing fast enough? Why am I like firing all these developers? Like what's going on? So let's really get into it. Why isn't your business growing fast enough?
Yeah. So I think it's really perspective. Like what does fast enough really mean, right? Who's to determine what fast enough actually means? And who's the one that really says it should be a year versus 7 years versus 10 years, right? Mm-hmm. You got so many people who are artists or actors or actresses that don't make it into the mid 50s or 60s. Was that fast enough for them? Right? And so I think putting that, trying to understand what that actually means for you is important. So I'll make that very personal. So fast enough for me was 2020. I was like, 2020 started before COVID happened. I was like, yeah, this is the last year. This is it. Like I got a 2020. She was born. Yeah, I got a kid on the way. Like, what I'm saying, I can't be spending all this time. Like I can spend time with her. It takes too much work. So 2020 was the year I was like, listen, either I make it or I don't. Because after that, I quit. And that was my going in position in 2020. Then COVID happened. I was like, well, damn, I can't quit after COVID though. Like that makes it a little bit difficult. But it made me pivot. And my pivoting, I think, helped to kind of elongate the business a little bit more because I started looking more on doing like diversity, equity, inclusion, like conversations, and I'm doing like a Black in travel and COVID survey. And so that made me pivot a little bit to kind of be more of an expert in the field. But my fast enough was 2020. And I was like, yo, it needs to end in 2020 or that's it. And so like, I think when you have to balance, okay, let me take a step back. Y'all watch Insecure? Y'all seen that last episode of Insecure? Listen.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. I have not seen it. I haven't seen it.
Okay.
My bad.
I'm just gonna allude to it. So it just talks about growing up. And so you might have all these expectations about friendships, about relationships, about where you're going to live, what you're going to do, and then life hits you, right? And so you might decide you want to live in New York for 2 years, and I've been here, which is actually true, and I've been here on year like 5 or 6, right? You might want to get married at this time, you got married at this time. The point is just life just really hits you, and life just happens. And so it's a balance between what's going on in your life and how you can progress your business and how those can marry together, right? So with my baby, right, like I can't spend as much time on Greenbook Global, especially during the day. Like I gotta wait till she goes to sleep and try to do, but then I gotta still spend time with my wife, right? And so you got to find that balance between where you are in your life and if that's fast enough for where your life is at that point. Because if you don't have that many responsibilities, if you're younger, you're out here just kicking it. Okay, Brittany, I won't spoil it. It's just a matter of it's really a personal choice and a personal understanding or decision for yourself of what's fast enough for you, based off of where you are in life, but also what's your expertise in the field. Like to say, like where I was 2015, where I am now, like there's no way I can expect that I would be able to grow a business like I have now. Like I could do everything I did in the last 7 years, probably like in 2 years now, right? Because I got that expertise, I got that knowledge. So you have to also be able to go through the growing pains and say, am I actually ready to have my business expand? Like if someone gave me $1 million right now, would I know what to do? 2015, I'm like, oh shoot, I'll try this. You know, you tell me that now, like, okay, no, I'll give you a spreadsheet of what I want everything to go to right now, right? So it's really about being prepared. And so when you think about fast enough, it's really just reflecting like, what does fast enough mean for you, and why are you even asking that question? Like, are you just antsy because you want to get to something? Like, you trying to get the bread, you trying to get the bag, or you know, is there like something looming over? Like for me, fast enough also was like, before the baby come, I got to make it, right? That was what was looming over me because I know my time's going to be, you know, greatly reduced. So it's really asking yourself why you even asking that question as well, if it's growing fast enough. And I think that will kind of unlock a lot of different questions that you need to answer as you kind of progress in your business.
I love that.
This is so good.
Yeah.
Well, a couple of things, because one of the things that you mentioned was the passion bit, right? Like going from like, what's the thing that's going to give you the money, and then focusing on actually the market that you're passionate about, because that ultimately is the thing that like drives you, that like keeps you going. I think that's super important for anybody who's just starting out in business. If you're new in business, go ahead and drop that in the chat, put an N so we know you're like brand new, and that was really good for you to hear that. And then also like, it's one of the reasons why I asked like, when did you start? Because the way you talk now, I'm sure anyone who's starting is like, he talks so well about his business, right? And like, what is that really like? How long has he been doing this, right?
I've been talking about it for a while.
Well, this is just it. It's been a few years. So, okay, as we go into overtime, we got an N in the chat. Jeannie's new. Awesome. So as we go into overtime, I guess the follow-up question that I have for you is like, you know, if you could go back to that 2016, I'll even give you a year in. If you could go back to that 2016 Lawrence and be like, all right, look, this is like what you need to know, whether it's calm down, like you just need to get through some of this, right? Or if it's like, oh, I got some stuff that will help you get over this, whatever that looked like, I really want to know. Because to your point, you've learned so much now that you didn't have before.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that.
For me, I would say spend the time to research your technology that you plan to build your platform on. And so yeah.
Time is up. We gotta go into overtime.
In too. Okay. All right.
You can tell, like Lawrence is like, I'm gonna tell you right now. 2016 Lawrence, listen to this right now.
Right. I got some drop some knowledge on you, young blood.
All right, awesome. Okay, well, those of you who were on with us, thank you so much for joining us. If you got any value out of what Lawrence had to provide for you guys today, drop a fire in the chat, put a V for value. We want to know, we want to let him hear it or let him see it rather. Lawrence, thank you so much for agreeing to come on today. I mean, you actually shed a lot of light on a lot of different things that we can't wait to talk about in overtime. For those of you that are our community members on Patreon, we are excited to have you come to say that. Go onto Patreon right now so that way you can watch us on overtime. I can't wait to see you there. And I will put our Patreon link in the chat so that way you guys can jump over there.
And for everybody that watches every week, guys, remember to like, subscribe, guys, and share this content. If you guys thought Lawrence brought value and you have other people in your life that you think could be benefit from just a little bit that he shared here, definitely share this link, guys. We're also live on Facebook, so you can definitely post that up on your page if you don't know anyone specific. Just let your entire network see what Lawrence had to talk about today.
Woo-hoo. Awesome. So lots of value, lots of nuggets. Thank you so much, Lawrence. There you go. You can see it all.
All right.
Beautiful. Thank you, guys. And
as always remember you deserve
the good life. Yeah, Janelle's delays are amazing. We'll see you guys next week.